Okay, everybody, we're going to try to make this pernil pork shoulder. Uh, Here's our big slab of meat right here. We're going to season it, we're going to cut it down, and we're going to get our spice rub together. So let's do that first. And what we're going to use here to put in our magic bullet is half a teaspoon of olive oil. All right, put that in there. All right, I'm going to use about 5 garlic cloves. Use our garlic cloves. I'm gonna put those in the blender. Gonna use like some oregano, about a quarter tablespoon. I'm not gonna measure it. About a quarter tablespoon of oregano. Let's just sprinkle that in there. Good. And we're gonna use some sea salt today, about a quarter tablespoon. All right. And we're going to use a little bit of a quarter tablespoon of adobo. Shake that in there. About that much. And we're gonna blend it. We're gonna use, we're gonna put our screw our top on, and we're going to put it in the blender and just let it blend up. This is gonna give flavor to our pernil. Try to get this magic bullet to work with this properly. Now that we got our little mix, our little rub all mixed up, we're gonna turn it over to the meat. We're gonna poke some holes into the meat. But first, let's just take off the outer skin. We're gonna be careful with the knife, and we're just gonna separate the skin from the meat so we can season the whole meat properly. Be careful with the knife. We're just gonna separate the skin, pull the skin back as we cut down, removing the fat layer, which we're going to use for seasoning later. We're going to season it, we're going to cut it, and we're still going to use it because a lot of people like the skin. But right now, we just want to separate it from the meat so we can actually season that as well. And the skin is going to retain a lot of the flavor. Alright. Be careful with that knife and just push that skin to the side. Trying to be careful. Cut that off so we get most of that skin off. There we go. And we're going to separate that. I'm going to put that to the side for a second. Put our knife to the side. And we're just going to take a knife and we're going to poke some holes in it all the way through. These holes are going to allow us to tenderize it, and it's also going to let us have some place to actually put the seasoning. Okay, make sure you get holes all over. Make sure the knife go down pretty good. That's just the bone part. Make sure it goes all the way through. Flip it over, do the same thing. Put as many holes in this as we can to make it tender, and somewhere for the seasoning to go. Alright. Alright. Make sure we got our holes in there. So basically we're going to be putting the seasoning in those holes that we just made. While we're at it, we're going to take the skin and we're going to scour the top with a sharp knife all the way through. Okay, I see you. And we're going to scour it. And we're going to turn it over. Going to make some cross sections into the meat, and then we're going to put this to the side. salt. And now we are going to season the meat. Alright, with the rub that we have, be generous with the rub. Just want to get it on there, rub it all over. Put it inside those holes we made with the knife. Don't be afraid to put all that seasoning on there. Stick it in the little holes and all the crevices. Season that meat good. Want to turn it over. Do the same thing on the other side with the rest of the seasoning. Rub that in there. Rub it all the way around. Like soap. Soak that in there. Right? Get all that seasoning on there that we put together earlier. We'll transfer our pork shoulder over to the pan, and we're going to just use a little water for the pan to keep the meat moist. Just going to put some water in the pan like so. Alright, that's going to keep the meat moist, and we are going to place our pernil on the pan with the water. And we're going to put our skin right next to it, like so. And we're going to preheat the oven to about, it's already been preheated. We're going to transfer it over to the oven right now. Second. And we are going to cover it with aluminum foil. Get our aluminum foil. We're going to cover it completely. We'll leave it in there. This is a small pork shoulder, so we're going to leave it in there for 1 hour. Alright. And we're putting it in the oven right now. And here we go. We're going to put it in the second rack of the oven. That's about an hour since it's not a big thing yet. And we're going to close it. And we'll see you in an hour. After an hour, we're going to check on our pan. As you can see, we changed pans. The other one was too shallow. This one should hold it more. I'm going to add a little bit more liquid. And add just a little bit more water because some of it came out. And we're going to seal it back in. Put it in for another hour. Okay. We're going to wrap it back up. Seal it. Send it right back inside. Cover it. Seal it. Put it back in the oven for another hour. I'm going to put my mitts on to be safe. And we'll see you in another hour. We're checking it now. Took it out for the second hour. We're going to add some adobo. We're going to add some adobo. Send it back in there. Put some seasoning on there. Okay. And we're going to leave it uncovered this time. See you in another hour. Just finishing. Took it out 2 hours. Another hour with the top off. Taking our pork out of the oven. You can see. Nice. We're going to remove it. Put it on the cutting board. Zoom in on our cutting board. Boom. pork on the cutting board. See how we got that skin nice and hard? Get my cutting knife. Fork. See how nice and tender that meat is. Right, we get a nice little cut right here. Right there on the side. Look at that nice pork meat. Look how easy it is to cut. Nice little slices. See that? Nice. Got that nice crispy skin over here. If you like it, you know, you can cut a piece of that off. For them crispy skin lovers, right? And if you want, still got some of that juice from the pot. Get some of that juice and just slide it on there like that. Bon appetit. You guys enjoy. Thank you for hanging out with us today.